to understand these views in the form of a medicinal or in the form of a practice. So to understand the basics, you need to know the darshanas, and it is a bridge between philosophy and medicine. So we call Ayurveda as a philosophical medical science. Why? Because it is medicine also. Along with that, it is philosophy also. Why? Because it is going to preach you, or it is going to teach you the values of life. That's why it is called as a philosophy. So it tells about the purusharthas. What are the purusharthas which are being told in Ayurveda? Morning. You should be fresh, na? And today Mysore is having a very good climate. So you should not be sleepy also. You should be active in answering your questions. I told you already, it should not be a boring 3 hour session. It should be an interactive session so that you can take away home some information. Along with that, you can give me some information also. I can learn from you also some few things. So what are the Purusharthas which are told in Ayurveda?
Rishmi, Maulika.
Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha.
It's very good. So these are the Purusharthas which are told in Ayurveda. So a person who wants to attain these are called, to attain these, they are going to tell you about the philosophical path. Ayurveda tells you about along with the philosophical path, it tells you about how to prevent any of these circumstances in causing the diseases. So these are the conceptual views of the darshana. And when you come for the exam view, okay, darshana, because we have to, as it was told that we have to train up with you with the writing of exams also. So one is why you want to study this darshana is to understand the basics, and darshanas are the bridge between philosophy and medicine. So you are going to have a bridge. So you'll become a philosophical thought is also there, a medicinal thought is also there in these studies. And when you go for exam view, so it is a very important syllabus point. Why? Because see, when you see the old question papers, the majority of questions are taken from the darshanas and the shad padarthas. So these are very important syllabus points. So you have to stress more over it. So when we come for the exam point, I'll be dealing with that, how to go and all. So another importance of studying this darshan, as I told, for exam also, this is very important syllabus point. So you have to have all the darshanas thoughts in your tip of the tongue. The next comes how much important it is. So you have a pattern of 10 marks, 5 marks and 3 marks. So it is these questions or this syllabus includes all the marks. It may come under 10 marks, it may come under 5 marks, or it may come under even 3 marks. Why? Because you have the concept called as Ayu and its concepts. You have a topic called as a Siddhanta. So these are what? These are 5 marks or 3 marks question. But Darshana and Shadpadartha are those points which are extensively for 10 marks, 5 marks and 3 marks. So this is the importance of you people to study Darshana in your first year. Okay. So that's why it is considered as important. So going with the history, how this evolution of the Darshana evolved, how it is irrelevant in Ayurveda, or why we have to study in Ayurveda subjects. So all of you know about the Vedas. So how many Vedas you have? Anybody Veda in your class? No Veda, no, in your class. Okay, how many Vedas you have? Dhanushri? How many Vedas you have?
4 Vedas.
Okay, can you name?
Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda.
So you have these 4 types of Vedas. So Vedas were the first origin of the text. So what are these Vedas? They are the collection of hymns and other ancient religious texts written in India, which was between about 1500 and 1000 BC. So usually we say that it was originated from Brahma and all. But when we go for the originality of Vedas, whatever the Brahma had taken, we have a history somewhere in the Shruta form and somewhere in the Smrita form. So these were written around 1500 1000 BC by the nomads called as the Aryans. So they were the one who came came from the Central Asia and they migrated into India in the subcontinent, and they wrote this, the basic Vedic text of Samhitas, which collection we call it as a Vedas. So we have these Vedas, as she told now. So Rig Veda is among that the oldest one, which contains the knowledge of hymns and praises of recitation. So only there the hymns are there, means only the mantras are there which are being recited. Samaveda, it has having the knowledge of medicine of for melodies for chanting, means you have some musical concept where they are only to chant, wherever the mantras are chanted in the form of a melody, those come under the Samaveda. And Yajurveda, all the sacrificial rituals are there, that is all the Homa, Yavana and all are being prescribed in the Yajurveda. And Atharvana Veda is having all the knowledge of magic formulas they have told, means they are having the formulas of medicines which are being named after those priests, a group of priests. For example, in our Ayurvedic text, you have a preparation called as Agastya Haritaki. So all might be knowing by now after you have entered into first year of Ayurveda. And you have Chavanprasha. Chavanprasha is even a layman knows what is Chavanprasha. So Chavana was a Rishi. It was this Prashana was named after him. So all these formulations you have in the Atharva Veda. So like this, the Vedas originated and they have their divisions and all, like Samhitas, Aranyaka, Brahmanas and all. So that is not needed for you at this part. After Vedas, there was the Vedas at the end. They came to be called as the subdivision of Veda. You have the Upanishads. So Upanishads are nothing but they are the text which discuss on meditation, philosophy and spiritual knowledge. So from this Upanishads, the Puranas and the Darshanas got bifurcated. So these are having the thoughts. So they are the text which discuss about the spiritual thoughts and the philosophical thoughts. So from this, the Darshanas and the Puranas came. So can you tell which are the Puranas? Purana. So in all the lockdown, you had a telecast of 2 Puranas, which was even in Hindi also, it came in Kannada also in your television. So everybody used to sit and watch. Which were those 2 serials which everybody watched in your home, your elders?
Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Okay, those are called as the Puranas. Even Bhagavad Gita is also come under that. So this is how the Darshanas evolved, and see, this Veda Upanishad, they came. As there was the flourishment of these Vedas, Upanishads and all, always see that there will be a difference of opinion in any field. So even in this also, when there was a thinking or when there was a discussion, there was a difference of opinion. So from the Upanishads, the Darshanas involved, the Darshanas were also having some of the difference of opinion regarding their thoughts. So that made to analyze, or that made in the formation of so many schools of thoughts. We call these Darshanas as schools of thoughts. What thoughts? Not your school thought of the day, what you used to say in your school. The thoughts related to life, the thoughts related to the ultimate reality of this universe, the thoughts related to what will happen after this life is being gone, whether we are going to have a rebirth or whether we are going to have the salvation, moksha. All these thoughts were the main center of the discussion. So why this discussion was formed at that time? This discussion was formed at that time because there was a need for the human to go into the Satvika Marga, because there was the emergence of the diseases. The diseases started to evolve. There was misery all over. So because of this, as there was a misery all over the world, they wanted to find a path where they can come out of this misery, or they can come out of these diseases and achieve a good and a healthy life and a death. So because of this, the different schools of thoughts emerged. They were not knowing about the medicine. They just wanted to know why a person is going to suffer with the miseries, why he is facing the dukkha, what is the reason for this dukkha, how I can come out of this dukkha. So that was a purpose. The schools of different schools of thoughts evolved at this time, and these were called as the darshana. Parallelly, in the Western civilization also, many schools of philosophies got emerged. So philosophy is nothing but philo refers to love and Sophie is refers to wisdom. The love for wisdom, these schools were emerged in the Western civilization also. We concentrate more on Western civilization. We concentrate more on the Western culture, but we forget what in our India during that time, what was the civilization, what was the culture. So parallelly, when they were searching for the mathematics numbers, here also parallelly Aryabhatta has also done that work. When they were searching the Big Bang theory, when they were doing the black hole theory and all, here our acharyas had proposed the Srishti Utpatti Krama. But we are more interested in studying those theories rather than understanding or interpreting our theories. So similarly, the school of thoughts also, Western civilization also, they also wanted to know the ultimate reality of this universe and the relation between the man and the universe, and what is the moksha marga, or how to come out of this miseries, was the school of philosophies in the Western civilization. Similarly, here in our culture, the darshanas from the Vedas, Upanishads, and darshanas started evolving. Once the darshanas started evolving and they wrote their philosophies, their thoughts, how to get rid of the miseries of the life. As we know that the Ayurveda is a upanga of the Atharvana Veda. So Ayurveda already existed. But who adopted these darshana values was the commentators. Whoever the commentators came, that is the Chakrapani, Dalhana, Vagbhata commentators, Hemadri, Arunadatta. So what they did was they took these raw materials of darshana and they tried to explain in more whatever the sutras have been told in the Ayurveda literature. Okay, for example, Ayurveda has told about the definition of Sharira. Acharyas have written Shiryante. What is the definition of Sharira? Can anybody tell? Anatomy? Spurti, can you tell?
Yes, ma'am. Shiryate anena iti sharira. One which is in continuous degradation.
Okay, which is in continuous degradation, that we very good, that we call it as a sharira. So this was the definition. So they made it to analyze this definition by taking in darshana, in the Bauddha darshana, there is one vada called it as Kshana Bangura Vada. I think you have studied in your paper too. In your Vada Karana Siddhanta, you have studied all the Vadas. So there they took this Vada, they took this, this is called as a raw material. They took this raw material, the commentators took this raw materials from these darshanas, that is, they took the Kshanabhangura Vada and they made us to understand the sutra Shiryate Anena Iti Sharira. They said that applying this Kshanabhangura Vada, they said that the body is going to undergo disintegration like that of the Kshanabhangura Vada, which is being told. That is, Kshanabhangura Vada says that anything at that particular moment exists. The second moment it is going to have some changes, and in the third moment it is going to disintegrate. So similarly is our Sharira. It will be born, that is the first stage. It is going to continue for a few years, that is the second stage, and once it dies, that is called as the third stage. So this is how they took this raw material from the darshana and they explained our theories in a medical view. So this is the importance of the darshana. So I think till here you got to know how was the evolution of darshana. What was the purpose of the evolution of darshana? To understand the ultimate reality of the universe, to understand the dukkha, to know what is the cause for this dukkha and how to come over this dukkha and to attain the moksha. So this was their thought. Because of this thought, they evolved the schools. So this is the history of this Veda, Upanishad and the Darshana. And for you people, don't concentrate more on the historical part. Anyhow, you'll be studying in Ayurveda Itihasa, that one. So here you understand what is the main purpose of the evolution of the Darshana. The next comes, what is the definition of this darshana? So when I say darshana, it is in Kannada also we call it as a darshana. Kannadalli darshana antandre enu? Anybody? Darshana antandre Kannadalli? He is not your hero, Darshan. He is Darshan. Illi darshana. Darshana andre enu?
Something which can be seen, visible, nodotara.
Somebody, you are not audible.
Lovely.
Vinay,
Is
tell.
visible, which can be seen. ನೋಡೋದನ್ನ ದರ್ಶನ ಅಂತಾರೆ.
ನೋಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ದರ್ಶನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದ ದರ್ಶನ. ಇವನ್ ಹಿ ಸೇಸ್ ದೃಶ್ಯತೆ ಅನೇನ ಇತಿ ದರ್ಶನ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಹಿ ಸೇಸ್ ದೃಶ್ಯತೆ ಅನೇನ ಇತಿ ದರ್ಶನ. ದೃಶ್ಯತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡುವುದು, ನೋಡುವುದಕ್ಕೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಿ, ದಟ್ ಹಿ ಕಾಲ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ದರ್ಶನ. ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಿ? ಸೊ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸಿ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ವೀವ್ ದೃಶ್ಯತೆ ಅನೇನ ಇತಿ ದರ್ಶನ. ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ he says that yathartha jnana you are going to get means how it is you are going to weave it in a particular way, in a proper way to understand the ultimate reality. Whatever you are going to visualize, you are going to see in through the knowledge. It is not only seeing through the knowledge. See, knowledge is needed for you. If you just see any one stick or any one a thing, you should be able to have a knowledge of whether it is a stick, whether it is a pen, or whether it is a rope, or whether it is a snake. So all this knowledge, along with the knowledge what you are going to see, that we call it as a darshana. So drishyate anena darshana. So this is the definition what you have already studied. Then how many numbers? ಎಷ್ಟು ದರ್ಶನಗಳಿದಾವೆ?
Six Darshana.
Third darshana. Okay, 6 darshana. So for your syllabus, actually there are only 4 darshanas, but total we have 6 darshanas you are telling. Okay, you have that. So I'll tell you in Tarka Sangraha, it has been mentioned as 363. So total darshanas are 363. Means in those days, during those days, everybody wrote their thought. They had their own views. Everybody had written their thought, though that all were called as a darshanas. So total we have a number of 363, and among these 363, 13 are very, very important. And these 363 are divided into 4 parts. That is Kriyavadi, Akriyavadi, Vaijnanika, and Ajnanika. So like that they were divided and it became into 4 types. So among these 13, see, first was basic classification, you have 363. Among 363, 13 are very, very important. Okay. And Ayurveda is being influenced. Among these 13, Ayurveda is influenced by 9 darshanas. So we have total how many? 9 darshanas. Ayurveda has been influenced by these 9 darshanas. So this is how the number comes. First comes your 363. You can easily remember 363. Then comes among 363, 13 are very, very important. And among these 13, Ayurveda is influenced by 9 darshanas. So we have 9 darshanas. And for you people to study in the syllabus, you have only 6 darshanas. So this is the numbers. And then comes the classification of these darshanas. So how you are going to classify these darshanas? Classification, you told me 6 darshanas. So do you know how it is being classified?
Astika darshan and Nastika darshan.
And then
Astika Nastika darshan.
okay, so this is the classification what you have. So you have classification. It is being classified into Astika Darshana, Nastika Darshana, and Astika Nastika Darshana. So can you tell what do you mean by these?
Astika is the one which believes in God. Nastika is the one which does not believe in God. Astika Nastika is the one which accepts both contextually.
Okay, so actually one side it is correct. What you have to say here is, see, whenever we are, already I told in the history part, the darshanas are the thoughts which have been evolved from the Vedas and the Upanishads. They have taken these references only and they have written their thoughts. So here what happens, Astika refers to those who believe. So there were some scholars who did not accept these thoughts, and some means they did not realize that whatever is being written, it has been taken, or they did not validate the existence of the Vedas and the Upanishads. So here, the school which validates or which believes in the Vedas, which believes that Vedas are our authentic text. Like Hindus, authentic text is Bhagavad Gita. Muslims, it is Quran. And for Christianity, it is the Bible. So these are their authentic text. So whatever is being told in Gita, we follow, isn't it? I don't know how to what extent we follow, but we tell that we follow. So this is what the people or the school of people who believed in the authenticity of the Vedas, Along with that, who believed in Ishvara, who believed in moksha, who believed in the Punarjanma, who believed in Astikata, they were called as the Astika Darshanas. So exactly the same definition will go for Nastika Darshana. So how you will write the Nastika definition now based upon this Astika Darshana?
Meghna Chandrasekhar, answer. Mute and answer.
Anybody, sir, not don't force them. It is their interest. Let them come up.
Mama, the one which denies to accept Vedas as authentic are called as Nastika Darshan.
Okay, and they don't believe the existence of Ishvara, Punarjanma, Moksha. Those are called as the Nastika Darshana. And what about now Astika, Nastikas? So Astika, Nastika, you defined very well. That so your definition should go like that. They who believes the authenticity of the Vedas, who don't believe the authenticity of the Vedas, and who believe in Ishvara, Moksha, Punarjanma, who don't believe in Moksha, Punarjanma, this one, Ishvara. And then what will be the Astika, Nastikas then?
Ma'am, they will disagree, though they disagree the concept of God or supreme power, they'll agree moksha and or liberation.
Okay, so here it is. They don't, Astika Nastikas are, they don't believe the authenticity of the Vedas. They also don't believe the authenticity of the Vedas, but they believe in Ishvara, Moksha, Punarjanma, etc. So those are called as the Astika Nastika Darshana. So they are nothing but your Bauddha Darshana and the Jaina Darshana. See, the Bauddha and Jaina, they believe in the concept of Nirvana. You might have seen, and they even go for the belief of the Ishvara. Isn't it? They have their own Ishvara, they have the concept of Nirvana, they have the concept of Punarjanma. But what they don't, so that time they become what? Astika. When they become Nastika, when they don't believe the authenticity of the Vedas, they will be turned as the Nastika. So they are called as the Astika Nastika Darshana. So now in classification you had three: Astika Darshana, Nastika, Astika Nastika. So under Astika Darshana comes your six darshanas, what you said starting. And under your Nastika Darshana, total Nastika comes your Charvaka Darshana, and under Astika Nastika comes your Bauddha and the Jaina. So ಎಷ್ಟಾಯ್ತು totally? ಆಸ್ತಿಕದಲ್ಲಿ 6, ನಾಸ್ತಿಕದಲ್ಲಿ 1, ಆಸ್ತಿಕ ನಾಸ್ತಿಕದಲ್ಲಿ 2. ಆಯ್ತು ಟೋಟಲ್
9.
9. So these 9 darshanas are highly influenced in Ayurveda. So this is the basic classification which you have to remember. Okay. So the next, this is what is the basis of classification we studied just now. Then what are the different names? So darshanas, these Astika Nastika darshanas all are having different names also. For example, you have to deal only with the Astika darshanas. So the different names. For example, you study these darshana in a group of 2. How you study in a group of 2? Can you name those 6 darshanas? How you will study? You study in the form of?
It can be described in 3 pairs, that is Sankhya Yoga, Nyaya Vaisheshika and Mimamsa Vedanta.
Okay, that is correct. 2 you did. So these 2 are also called as, another name for this? They are also called as Yugma Darshana. Yugma antandre? In Sanskrit, Yugma refers to twins. Twins andre yavaglu ibru. Triplets andre mooru. So twins as Sankhya Yoga 2, Nyaya Vaisheshika 2, and another is Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa 2. So they are also called as the Yugma Darshana. They are also called as the Dvandva Darshana. So these are the different names of these darshanas of the Shad Darshanas what you are going to study today. So moving into the first darshana, that is the Sankhya Darshana. See, whenever you are writing tomorrow in your paper, it may be related to any subject, always follow a format or a pattern of writing. So if you prepare notes in that pattern also, it will be easy for you to have an input also. Okay, so always develop the habit. Even to my students, I tell, nowadays students especially, irrespective of the colleges, they don't have the habit of writing. So if you have a habit of writing, then what happens? You can easily write down in your answer sheet during your exams. So you always depend upon mobile, you always depend upon the notes, etc. So try to prepare your own notes, try to write by your hand, so that what happens, you'll have a easy movement of your, there will be easy coordination of your brain and hand and your mind. Okay, so this way should be your pattern always. So what you are going to do in Sankhya Darshana? So if any Darshana comes, always you have to remember 5 points. You have to write these 5 points. If you remember these 5 points, you can easily elaborate one by one. So the first one is the profounder. Who is the profounder of Sankhya Darshana?
Kapila.
Kapila Maharshi.
He is the Kapila Maharshi is the profounder of the Sankhya Darshana. So you have to write first that only. You have to write the profounder. It is Kapila Maharshi is the profounder of the Sankhya Darshana. So that should be your first. Then comes, do you have any definitions of Sankhya Darshana? Okay, so if some for Sankhya, Nyaya and Vaisheshika you have definition. For yoga you have the definition. So wherever you find the definitions of that particular one, you are going to write that. Then other names. Is there any other name called to the Sankhya Darshana or any other Darshana? So that should be a third point. And the fourth point should be, what are the basic principles which are being told in that particular Darshana? So that is very, very important. Why? Because the first 3 points you are not going to elaborate. You are going to write it as it is to the point. But the fourth point, the basic principles, you have to elaborate each point, each principle you have to explain. After this, the fifth point will be, what is the application of this in Ayurveda? How we can apply these principles in Ayurveda? So that these are the 5 points which you have to remember in the Sankhya, in any of the darshanas before writing in the exam. So now you told Patanjali Maharshi, he was the, Kapila Maharshi was the profounder of the Sankhya Darshana. So this is Sankhya reference you have in all the Upanishads, Manu Smriti, Gita, etc. And what is the definition of this Sankhya? So Sankhya refers to Samyak Jnana. Samyak Jnana, or it is also called as the Viveka Jnana, means where you are going to get a right knowledge, that he calls it as a proper knowledge, that he calls it as a Sankhya. Sankhya refers to Samyak Jnana. Sankhya also refers to Sankhya. That is, it is nothing but the numbers or the enumerations. That is also called as the Sankhya. So based upon that, in this Darshana or in this school of thought, then they gave more importance to the Sankhya. They gave more importance to the numbers. So it was called as the Sankhya Darshana. In this school, they gave more importance to the proper knowledge or the right knowledge, Samyak Jnana. That's why it is called as the Sankhya Darshana. So other names of this Sankhya. So you don't have, as such, you don't have any other name. You have other names for this. As it is being written by Kapila Maharshi, it is also called as the Kapila Tantra, Kapila Darshana, and it is also called as the Shashti Tantra. So these are the different names of the Sankhya Darshana. And here they say that understanding the or having the Samyak knowledge of the basic principles of the Sankhya Darshana will lead you to the ultimate liberation or moksha. So those, what are those basic principles? How you have to understand? The first basic principle is the Panchavimshatika Tattva. So what they called this principle in the form of Tattva. Knowledge of Tattva will lead a person to ultimate liberation. So this is what they called it as a Tattva. So here he says, that's why see, 25. 25 is what? A number. So that's why it is called as a Sankhya. What it is called as numbers. The next principle comes the 3 guna. Again what came? Number 3. That's why it is called as Sankhya. The next comes Pancha Mahabhuta. They are not telling us Mahabhuta. They are specifying it as Pancha, means 5. Again the number came, so Sankhya. 3 Tapa. Again the number comes as a 3. That's why it is called as the Sankhya. And then comes the Parinama Vada. So these are the basic principles of Sankhya Darshana. So here all are numbers only. And one more name for this was the Shashti Tantra, because Shashti refers to how much number? Numbers ಎಷ್ಟು Shashti ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ? Shashti ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು numbers? Correct.
6.
6. Anusha. No.
60, ma'am.
60. So 60. So 60 is again what? A number. That's why it is called a Sankhya Darshana. Based upon that number, it is also called a Shashti Tantra. So these are the different names of this Darshana. So what are these basic principles? So first they tells about is the Panchavimshatika Tattva. So understanding the Tattva for a person will lead to the ultimate liberation. So this was their Srishti Utpatti Krama, what they told. So realization of the universe in term of these Tattva means how this universe evolved. When you are going to understand this knowledge through these Tattva, you are going to get the ultimate way to attain the moksha. So can anybody tell these 25 principles? Tumba important to eat 25 principle. Why? Because this is going to cover your Srishti Utpatti also. It is going, and these 25 principles come in the form of 3 marks questions also. Shodasha Vikara anta keltare, Ashta Prakriti anta keltare. So that we call it as a Panchavimshati Tattva. Yelli kaltidira nivi Panchavimshati Tattva other than in Sankhya Darshana, where you have studied?
Srishti Utpatti.
ಓಕೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಏನಿದು ಪಂಚವಿಂಶತಿಕ ತತ್ವ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಏನಂತ ಕಲ್ತ್ರಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? See, always human have a curiosity of the evolution, isn't it? So this curiosity is being done or it is being followed from years ago. All are finding the answer as how the earth evolved first. How was the purpose, or how did the earth evolve? What were the changes which has occurred? Now they are trying it into other planets, isn't it? So they are finding, is there any life in the Mars, Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, like that? So how this earth on the earth the life evolved? So this was the question of curiosity long years ago in the Western civilization also and in the Indian civilization also. So this led to the formation or to the theory of the Srishti Utpatti or to the theory of the Panchavimshati Tattva. So when a man realizes that both the Srishti as well as the human, they are part and parcel of each other. That is, we both are dependent on each other. We try to inculcate the good things in our life. We try to come up with a better human being. So this was the basic principle what they wanted to make a human being to realize. So they wanted to answer how the life evolved, how we have to be with the universe. Okay, the miseries. Okay, in the olden days, the miseries were in the form of Ati Yoga of the Kala only, or the Hina Yoga or the Mithya Yoga of the Kala. Now we are having only the Mithya Yoga of the Kala itself. So they wanted to know, or they wanted to understand this, and they wanted to know the mutual relation between the universe and the human being, and then how the life evolved. So when a person realizes this, then he is going to lead a happy life. Then he is going to go for the he is going to attain all the dharma, artha, kama, and he is going to attain the moksha. So this was how the basic principles, the 25 tattvas has evolved. So they say that from Prakriti, the Purusha, that is Avyakta, Mahat, Ahankara, the Ahankara is going to have the 3 form, the 3 gunas it is going to have, that it is the Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasi Ahankara. And when this Ahankara turns more, then it is going to split into different particles, and that is going to become into the Panchajnanendriya, Karmendriya, Manas, Panchamahabhuta, and the Tanmatras. So this is how the Prakriti evolvement or the formation of the Prakriti was told in the Sankhya Darshana. So this was the 25 principles what they had told. So one thing you have to analyze here is the 25 things is, the first one is the Prakriti. So what is Prakriti? Prakriti is one which is not created by anyone. It is original by itself, and it is going to create the other things. So that is called as the Prakriti. And Shodasha Vikaras. So this Prakriti, you have 4 terminologies here. Please write it down if you have a pen and a notebook with you. Prakriti, Prakriti Vikriti, and Vikriti, na prakriti, na vikriti. So these terminologies have been told by the Sankhya philosophies. So what is prakriti? Prakriti is one which is having no origin, but it is capable of originating other things, creating the other things. It has its own origin. So that is called as the prakriti. So before the evolution of the life, there was only what? The space and the time. Nobody knows how this space evolved. Nobody knows this time. So only space and time was present before the evolution of this life. So this space and time, it got filled up with many of the gases, elements. So when it goes on increasing, the gaseous state and the element says, that is, this prakriti gave origin to this mahat and ahankara. It is nothing but the involvement, what it went on increasing. When these are in the sama avastha, acharyas have said that the prakriti is not, the srishti is not going to occur. When this undergoes the pralaya, then only it is going to cause for that. When there is no samya avastha in the ahankara, when the ahankara splits into satvika, rajasika, tamasika, then only the srishti is going to occur. So similarly, so this gaseous state, when it increased more than its level, then it got outburst. It started moving here and there, and that formed into number of elements in the nature. It formed into carbon molecules and hydrogen molecules, oxygen molecules. Like this, many molecules were formed, and through these molecules, small life started evolving. That is Jnanendriya, Karmendriya. First Pancha Mahabhuta, all the elements you Prakriti and Vikriti. So what is this Prakriti and Vikriti? So Prakriti and Vikriti are those things, these are originated from Prakriti and they later become Prakriti for other things. For example, Mahat is Mahat Ahankara. These can be considered as the Prakriti and the Vikriti. Avyakta Mahan Ahankara. How? See, Mahan Ahankara and all, they are originated from the Prakriti and they give origin. Mahan will give origin to Ahankara. Ahankara will give origin to the three types of Ahankara, then Jnanendriya, Karmendriya. So that becomes the both Prakriti and the Vikriti. So even Avyakta will also become Prakriti and Vikriti. Why? Because it is originated, it is Avyakta, that is, it is not having any origin, but it is giving origin to the Mahan and the Ahankara. So those are called as the Prakriti and the Vikriti. The next comes the Vikritis. So those are called as the Shodasha Vikaras. It is one of your question which routinely they ask, that is called as the Shodasha Vikaras. So those Shodasha Vikaras, you are calling it as the Vikritis. So those Vikritis are nothing but Vikritis are originated from Prakriti and they do not become Prakriti for the other things. That is, they are Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, the Artha, Panchendriya Artha and the Manas. These are called as the Shodasha Vikaras. They are originated from Vikriti, Prakriti, but they are not going to give rise to any other things. Jnanendriya is your last classification. Karmendriya is your last classification. So that's why they are not going to become Prakriti for any other thing. And the last one is Na Prakriti, Na Vikriti. Means they are not originated from Prakriti also and they won't become Prakriti for others also. So that is called as the Purusha. That is, the concept of Atma comes here. Here Purusha refers to the Atma. This Atma is not Prakriti also, it is not Vikriti also. Means he is entirely different from this universe. Once he joins with this universe, then what happens? The Srishti starts developing, or when the Jivas comes over there, then the Srishti is going to occur. So that he calls it as a Na Prakriti, Na Vikriti. So these are the 25 principles which Sankhya told in the form of evolution of the universe. And when the human being understands these tattvas, then he is going to attain the moksha. The next comes the Triguna. What do you mean by Triguna? What do you mean by Triguna?
Sattva Rajatama.
Okay, Sattva Rajatama. Sattva Rajatama, these are called as the three gunas. So this is nothing but the evolution of the universe through Moola Prakriti, that is when the Ahankara is going to divide, that is when it breaks, when the Prakriti breaks, that is Satvika, Rajasika and Tamasika Ahankara. So that is called, we call it as a Triguna. When the Triguna is going to break, when it is in the Samya Avastha, then there will be no formation of the universe. But when it breaks into different particles, then it is going to cause for the evolution of the universe. So those Trigunas, he says it as present in the universe, and these are present even in the human being also. So those are called as the Trigunas, what Sankhya Darshana told. And Panchamahabhuta, everybody knows the elements what you are going to find, those are called as the Panchamahabhuta. So he says that Sankhya people said that the entire universe is made up of the 5 Mahabhutas, means they just saw what is there. They saw the air, they saw the water, they saw the Agni Mahabhuta, they saw the Prithvi Mahabhuta, and they named that this is Panchamahabhuta, and these are much needed for the human being to survive. If anything wrong goes in this Panchamahabhuta, then the people is going to suffer with the Vyadhi. They did not have this application, or they did not had how to utilize in the medicine this one. They just gave a knowledge to the human beings, to the other human beings, that see, these are the 25 principles. If you know this knowledge, you are going to attain the moksha. These are the Trigunas. Maintain your Trigunas. If these Trigunas, Sattva, Raja, Tama, you are going to increase it, you are going to end up with the miseries. These are the Panchamahabhutas. Try to take care of these Panchamahabhutas. If something happens wrong, then the person is going to suffer with the miseries. Then he says about the 3 tapa. What do you mean by 3 tapa? 3 tapa. 3 andre 3. Tapa antandre? Tapa antandre? Tapa refers to the sufferings. He says that the person suffers with 3 types of sufferings in his life. It means they saw the sufferings, but they couldn't give the medicine to that. But they just saw because of 3 main basic things, they are going to have the suffering. So can you name those 3 things through which the sufferings are seen? Classification.
Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, and Adhyatmika.
Adhyatmika, Bhautika, Adi Daivika.
Adi Daivika. So these are the 3 types of the suffering. So because of these sufferings, because of Adhyatmika, by the God, they are going to have the suffering. Through themselves, they are going to have the sufferings, and through any of the external agents, they are going to have the sufferings. So they got the knowledge why the sufferings are happening, but they were unable to find the treatment for this, or they were not able to find the cure for this. So what they went to was through the following of the tattvas or the jnana, through going through the marga of the dharma artha. They taught that following this marga, we may come out of this misery. So this was their value. And they proposed the Parinama Vada. See, Vada I am not going to explain you more here. Why? Because it is already been in your second paper. But remember that this Vada is from this Darshana. So Sankhya proposed the Parinama Vada. So this Parinama Vada and all are nothing but the sub-classifications of your basic Vada, that is your Karyakarana Vada. So Parinama Vada, they said that this universe is always under a form of transformation. Always there is changes what it is going to take. So that what we call it as a evolution. They observed that this universe is undergoing transformation every day, day by day, every second. It is being transferred from Moola Prakriti, and it is not, they said that neither is created nor destroyed. So they observed and they formed the Parinama Vada. So these are the basic principles what they told. How these principles are borrowed and or they are taken as a raw material and they are explained in Ayurveda. So the first one is application. So they are going to tell about the first, whatever the 25 principles are being told, Panchavimshatika Tattva, those are called as Chaturvimshatika Tattvas in Ayurveda. In Charaka Samhita Sharirasthana first chapter, you are going to study in your second year. He says that the Purusha, that is the Atma, are the subcontinent components of the person he has told, through which this Purusha is being made. Who is this Purusha? Purusha is a thing on whom the treatment is being going to done. So on whom you are going to do the treatment, that person will be called as a Chikitsa Purusha. And here the 24 principles whatever are there, that is Avyakta, Mahat, Ahankara and all, Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, when all this is Srushti Utpatti, when it combines with the Purusha, that is the Atma, when the Atma, here Purusha refers to Atma, when Atma combines with this Tattva, there is the origin of life. See, without this, there is no origin of life. And if there is no life, then you cannot treat that particular thing. Can you treat a dead body? No, you cannot. You have only dissected your dead body in the first year, isn't it? You did not dissect on the live human being, isn't it? You dissected on a dead body. So what is there? There the Chaturmshika Tattvas were there. Okay, but there was no Atma. When the Atma comes over there, okay, what happens? You are not going to dissect it. You are going to treat that particular Purusha, that Purusha, he calls it as a Chikitsa Purusha. Means he is giving you that, treat that person who is in a combination with the Chaturvamsha, with the Tattvas plus Atma. Whenever you are like this, you are having, then only you go for the treatment. Means till Atma exists, treat that person. Means till the end of the life, treat that person. So this is what the Chikitsa Purusha Siddhanta, what they took from the 25 principles of Sankhya Darshana, and they gave the importance of Chikitsa. So this is one. The next comes the Triguna. So Ayurveda also borrowed the Triguna concept of Sankhya Darshana as Sattva, Raja and the Tama as a Triguna, and they quoted this concept in Charaka Sharira 4th chapter, saying that the Sattva are of three types. Sattva, Raja and the Tama. So there they said this Triguna helps in the formation of the Manasika Prakriti, as well as you have studied in your first year, isn't it, in your Sharira Kriya, Sharirika Prakriti and Manasika Prakriti. So here also he says that Manasika Prakriti, it helps in the formation of the Manasika Prakriti in the Garbha, the Guna which will be there in that particular time. The Utkata Guna is also along with the dosha, it is going to form the mental constitution of that particular Garbha. So that he calls it as a Manasika Prakriti. So here again with that Manasika Prakriti, it also plays an important role in the occurrence of many of the psychological disorders. So he says that Sattva is Adosha, and it is more relevant, or it is more relevant to the Sattvikata. It is Adosha, it is not having any doshas. And Raja, he refers it as Krodhamsha and Sadosha. It is having dosha, and Raja is always predominant with the Krodha. And Sattva, Raja, Tama is Mohamsha, and it is also having the dosha. So this is how he has classified this Triguna based upon the Triguna concept what they took from the Sankhya Darshana. Means whatever Triguna is being told in Ayurveda, it is directly related, one to the Manasika Prakriti and another in the occurrence of the Manasika Vyadhi. So this is how the Trigunas are being borrowed from the Sankhya Darshana. And when it comes for Panchamahabhuta, so Ayurveda's basic foundation is on Panchamahabhuta itself. So he says, Acharya says, Sarvam Dravyam Panchabhautikam. We say that the body is formed out of Panchamahabhuta Samavayi Shariram, means it is formed out of the Panchamahabhutas. So that is also one where we are going to go with the Panchamahabhuta understanding. So they did not take Panchamahabhuta of the external. What they analyzed Ayurveda, they analyzed that whatever is in the universe, the same component are also seen in the Sharira. So the Jala Mahabhuta is seen in the Sharira in the form of different liquids. The Prithvi Mahabhuta component is seen in the Sharira in the form of all the hard particles or the organs. So this is how they compared or they analyzed, and they said that Sarvam Panchabhautikam. Dravya is also made up out of the Panchamahabhuta. So seeing this, we are going for our treatment protocol. So that is what our Samanya Vishesha Siddhanta. So this is Panchamahabhuta, what they carried. They have carried the principles, but Sankhya tells it in the form of to a layman. To explain the concepts, it is telling to a layman. Ayurveda, it is telling to a Vaidya how to treat a disease. So Ayurveda also borrowed the Panchamahabhuta, but it does not tell only Agni, Vayu, Akasha. It tells how you have to utilize these in understanding the formation of Sharira, in understanding the Dravya, and in application in the Chikitsa. So this is how Panchamahabhuta. The next comes Tritapa. Whatever the Tritapa Sankhya told, that Sushruta told in the form of Trivida Dukkha. He said that a person suffers with the Trivida Dukkha, and he tells it's the sub-classification as 7 types. What is the different classification? He says about the Adibala, Janmabala Pravruta. He gives a reference of all the diseases which are occurring during the Garbha stage, which are occurring after the born stage. All these he is going to tell the Trivida Dukkha, and he gives what is the treatment for this type of occurrence of the diseases. So Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidevika. Again in Adhyatmika, he tells about the Adibala Pravritta, Janma Bala Pravritta. He goes on defining these classifications. So that he calls it as a Trivida Dukkha. There it is called as the Tritapa. Here it is called as Trivida Dukkha. And when we go for Parinamavada of Sankhya, it has been, the Karyakarana Siddhanta is being applied in Ayurveda. So what Ayurveda tells, Parinama, here he explains that even in the body, there is a continuous transformation or changes occurring in the body. So that changes, he calls it a Parinama. Example, take your red blood cells. They are having a lifespan of 120 days. So does it mean that after 120 days, your all red blood cells are going to vanish? So you live only for 120 days. After 120 days, what you will do? What is that process? How it is going to? It is not so. No? So after 120 days, it doesn't mean that your red blood cells have vanished. You are going to a shop and you are taking your RBCs and again you are putting inside. It is not like that. Day by day, there is a disintegration as well as there is a new formation of the cells in our body. Every second, this wear and tear mechanism is happening in our body. So what is this transformation which is occurring? It is nothing but the Parinama. They said there is a change in the universe. So yesterday it was a bright day and today it is cloudy in Mysore. So what happened? There is a Parinama. There is a transformation from a bright day to a sunny day. So this is what Sankhya people told in the form of Parinamavada. What Ayurveda told that Dhatu is undergoing Ahara, whatever you are going to take, it is undergoing transformation. Dhatu is undergoing transformation. Sharira is undergoing transformation. So there is a changes or process taking place each day or every second. So that they told as a Parinama. Arogi may become Roga Yukta may become Roga Mukta. It doesn't mean that whatever you are going to, if a person is suffering from disease means he is not going to get treated. So that is what he is going to get treated. How there is Roga is become Roga Mukta. How? Through the medicine what you are going to put, the changes are occurring in your body. The dosha vaishamya is going to come to the dosha samyata, and then the person is becoming arogya. So this is the Sankhya Darshana. So understood how Sankhya Darshana you have to write in your exam. Profounder, definition, other names. These are the basic principles. The same basic principles how you are going to apply in Ayurveda. So this is very, very important for you to understand the application. So if you read in application, if you read clinically, you don't feel that why the syllabus, you don't feel that why the syllabus point in our syllabus. ನೀವು ಅಂತಿರ್ಬೋದು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಈ ದರ್ಶನ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇದು ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. It is having a purpose, it is having its application. Try to understand the concepts based on how these are applied in Ayurveda. So this is Sankhya Darshana. Okay, now all of you. Did you got no Sankhya Darshana what it is? No. Meghana, Dhanushri, Vinay, all got silent.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
Okay. So be in a wake up stage. Okay. Don't become dull. Our first starting kushi idri. So next comes your Yoga Darshana. So what idea you have about Yoga Darshana? Yoga Darshana, everybody should be knowing better than me.
The founder is Patanjali.
Okay, then?
It is one of the most popular philosophies in India.
Okay. Most popular and most running also, isn't it? So same pattern you have to follow for Yoga Darshana. But who is the profounder, the definition, then what are the other names of this Yoga Darshana and the basic principles. So like this, you have to follow the pattern in your exam. And along with that, what is its application in Ayurveda? So who is the profounder? Who propounded by the Yoga Darshana? He is the Patanjali Maharshi. He is the profounder. Then what is the definition? What you are going to, what you have defined it? The basic definition you should know.
Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha.
Nirodha. So Chitta Vritti Nirodha, he is telling the definition of this yoga. So he is telling Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So that only comes as a basic principles of the yoga. So what is, see, yoga always concentrated on joining of Jivatma with Paramatma. So they said that controlling your mind, it is going to make you to achieve, you are going to join with your Atma is going to join with the Paramatma. So this concept is different. That's why these are the different schools of thoughts. So they said that understanding the knowledge or understanding the relation between the universe as well as a human being will make you to go for the marga of moksha. But yoga was not like that. They said that controlling your mind, controlling your coming out of all the chitta vrittis is going to attain you to the Paramatma. So they said the moksha marga through this. So the padartha, here the difference is there. So this is the basic difference what we see in these two. But as they are going with the same ideology to say, they say the ideology of moksha marga is through chitta vritti, and there it is to the tattvas. So somewhere they are in close relation. So hence they are called as the principles they are following same. So they come under the category of the yugma darshana or the dvandva darshana. So here he is going to tell you about the chitta vritti. He is going to tell. So what are the chitta vrittis? So how many chitta vritti you have? Chitta refers to your manas. Vritti refers to the karma. Means your manas is having certain karma, isn't it? Now you are listening online class also, you are doing again some other things also. So you maybe you are concentrating, you are not concentrating. Your concentration may go somewhere for 5 or 10 minutes. Again you will come back, isn't it? So this is what they are having certain functions. So here chitta vritti. So what are these basics? What are chitta vrittis? You have 5 chitta vrittis. So these are the karma of the manas. What they does? Pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra and smriti. So these are called as the chitta vrittis. Pramana here refers to the right knowledge. Viparyaya, where it is going to tell you it is wrong knowledge. Vikalpa is imagination. Nidra is the sleep, and smriti is the memory. So these are the vritti of the chitta. So these are to be controlled, or these has to be analyzed properly. When you are going to analyze it properly, when you have a control over your chitta, then only you are going to analyze this properly. You are going to judge it, which is wrong, which is right. So that he calls it as, that principle he calls in the Yoga Darshana. And he says that pancha klesha. So the human being is having always 5 types of the dukkha. So even though the numbers are there here, you may get the answer question that in Sankhya also numbers were there. Here also pancha, 5 klesha, 8 yoga are there. But here the basic principle here is yogastu chitta vritti nirodha. That's why it is named as the Yoga Darshana. So Pancha klesha or the pancha dukkha are avijna, asmita, raga, dvesha and abhinivesha. So because of these, the person will be having the dukkha. If he does not get any proper knowledge, if wrong knowledge, and if the memory is not proper, and if he is filled with raga and dvesha, then, or he is always doomed with some worries, then he will suffer with the dukkha always. So those are the pancha klesha. So when the mind is like this, when there are klesha, how you are going to overcome these? So these you are going to overcome through the Ashtanga Yoga. So by following the Ashtanga Yoga Patha, you are going to have a cessation of your chitta vrittis. You are going to fight again all the pancha klesha. So can you name the Ashtanga Yogas?
Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, Pratyahara.
So this should be always in one flow. That is, it is always in Ashtanga Yoga. He's telling it has been arranged in a particular way. That is, he says that Yama and Niyama. Yama is what? So always nowadays we see everybody are living with the Yama and Niyama, and everybody are following the Asana and Pranayama. No, you are not going to have any Chitta Vritti by doing this. Only when you follow Yama and Niyama and then come for Asana and Pranayama, you are going to get the Siddhi of Yoga. So this is needed, very much needed for the particular generation to understand. So if you ask anybody, all your patient will tell, I do asana, I do pranayama daily, I do for half an hour pranayama, I do asana, all the asanas I do, they say. But what about Yama and Niyama? Is anybody following this Yama and Niyama? If you ask, none of them will be following this. So when you are going to get Siddhi, when you are going to get relief from the Panchaklesha Chitta Vritti is when you follow the right pattern. When you follow Yama, Niyama and then come for Asana and Pranayama, you are going to get. So it is your duty also. Tomorrow you are going to be a Vaidya. You have to make your patients to understand this is nothing but, he calls it as a self-control. When you have a self-control over yourself, then only you are going to have the your what you call it as a, you are going to have the Chitta Vritti. So Yama comes under, again Yama are divided into 5 types. So those are, sometimes Ashtanga Yoga is also been asked for you in the exam. So those are Satya, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Aparigraha and Ahimsa. So Satya is the first. So how many we follow this? 90% we don't follow. So that we have to follow in our life. So that is going to increase the Satvika Guna in us. Then Brahmacharya, the celibacy he is going to tell. Whenever it is needed, only at that time it should be done. Otherwise, you have to go under Brahmacharya. So this is also not followed nowadays. Asteya. Asteya antandre? Asteya ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ
ನಾನ್ ಸ್ಟೀಲಿಂಗ್.
ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟೀಲ್. ಏನ್ ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು? ಪೆನ್ನು ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲ್ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿದ್ದಾಗ ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಅದ. So this refers to all, starting from a kid life to a young, to the professional life. You should not steal anybody's anything. It may be anything. It may be a material, or it may be a qualification, or it may be an exam, or it may be a rank. Anything that cunningness mind is called as the asteya. You should not have that cunning mind. So that he calls it as a asteya. Aparigraha. Aparigraha.
Negativity. Non-possessiveness.
Refusing gift, he says, don't accept anything from others. So we cannot do that. No, you accept gifts during your birthday. So it doesn't mean that you don't accept here. So here he refers to whichever is not good for you, don't accept those. So whichever is good, only accept those things. So that he calls it as a aparigraha. So refuse. So in modern, this one you can go it for the bribing. So that we call it as aparigraha. And ahimsa, everybody know, non-violence. So this is what we don't follow nowadays. So non-violence, it starts from the simple things of non-violence, of the violence where we see at present situation. So when you follow all this, then he calls it as a yama. And niyama is observing. So what are the niyamas which are being told? Niyamas is which yama is to your society, what you can play a role. Niyama is what you can do for yourself, how you can develop your personality. That is shaucha. Shaucha refers to cleanliness. What type of cleanliness here? Wearing a clean clothes and applying powder and combing hair nicely.
Both physical and mental.
Physical and mental.
Inner cleanliness and outer cleanliness, both he calls it as a shaucha. Means you should be shuddha from your atma also, through external also. That he calls it as a shaucha. Santosha is a state of happiness what you are going to get. That is called as a santosha. Tapa is what? Going for a prayers and all. Swadhyaya, going for the Swadhyaya or the Japa, and Ishwara Pranidhana. The Tapa, Swadhyaya, Ishwara Pranidhana all come under your what you call the Adhyatmika concepts, where you are going for your Adhyatmika concepts. So that is come under your Niyama. So all these is considered Yama, Niyama. First you have to follow, and then are the asanas, then Pratyahara. Pratyahara refers to asana, pranayama and pratyahara. So whenever you're sitting in an asana, that's why see after asana, then he's telling pranayama and he's telling pratyahara. Pratyahara, why he's telling? Because so if you're sitting in an asana, so many of you have been observed, the best asana what you like is your shavasana. Why? Because you get a time to sleep over there. So no, that will not be called as a Ashtanga Yoga. So whenever you are doing asana or the pranayama, pratyahara is very, very important. Means concentration is very, very important. This pratyahara is nothing but you are going to restrain your mind from those which are distracting your mind. So you have to concentrate. So that concentrate comes under your pratyahara and dharana. When you leave your mind from the distracting objects, when you leave it there, when you leave your mobile for 1 hour and sit, then what happens? You are going to go for the dharana stage. Then only you can concentrate. That's why after pratyahara, dharana, then you are going to go for the deep involvement, that is the dhyana. When you go into the deep involvement, you are going for the ultimate realization of your Atma with the Paramatma. That time is called as the Samadhi time, and nobody is going to attain the Samadhi till the end. So when you follow these regularly, when you follow these 7 properly, then only you are going to achieve the 8th one, that is called as the Samadhi. Then you are going to attain the moksha. And yoga people called moksha in the name as Kaivalya. They gave the name for this moksha as Kaivalya, only when you are going to do this. And when you practice properly the yoga, you are going to attain the siddhi. That is, you are going to attain the different ashtasiddhis are there. Those you are going to attain. That much is not needed for you people. But Ashtanga Yoga, analyzing this Ashtanga Yoga, what do you mean by yama? What do you mean by niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi is important for you. So this is the principles of Yoga Darshana. How you are going to apply it in Ayurveda? Okay, yoga ಹೇಳಿದಾರಾ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ asanas ಹೇಳಿದಾರಾ ಆಯುರ್ವೇದದಲ್ಲಿ? Have you heard or have you come across through your seniors somewhere that mandukasana is being told or any other asanas are being told ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ? We don't read such asanas in our Ayurvedic text. So whatever we see is we just have the cross reference, or it is being taken into a indirect reference. So Trivida Aushadha is being explained in Ayurveda. Can anybody tell what is Trivida Aushadha? So it comes in your 2nd year. So Trivida Aushadha are Ayurveda tells about Daiva Vipashraya, Yukti Vipashraya, and Sattvavajaya. So these are the Trivida Aushadha what he says. And when you come for the Sattvavajaya Chikitsa, where the Yama Niyama concepts have been told, there he tells about the Tapa, Swa, Adhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana and all is being told even in Daiva Vipashraya Chikitsa as well as in Sattvavajaya Chikitsa. Satya, Shaucha, all these are being told in the Daiva Vipashraya as well as in the Sattvavajaya Chikitsa. So in all the psychosomatic disorders, we go for the Daiva Vipashraya and Sattvavajaya Chikitsa. And then Upadhi, there is a concept of Upadhi in Charaka Sharira where he says that why there are certain question and answers going between the Guru and the Shishya, that is Agnimesha and Atreya. So Agnimesha will ask why a person is always going for the misery. He asks many doubts on Atma concept. So that time, why there is a Punarjanma and all he asks. So there he tells the Upadhi is the main karana for getting this Punarjanma. Means Upadhi here refers to desire. We all always bound with the desire, isn't it? A desire in the sense we want to, all the desires, it may be starting from a small thing, getting the chocolates, till the big things, getting a good job, getting well settled in life. All these are considered as a desire, and there is no end for this desire. And when desire increases, Raja and Tama is going to increase. That in turn is going to not achieve for the moksha. So that he calls it as Upadhi. And then he asks, then how to get rid of this Upadhi? Okay, so if Upadhi is obstructing you to get moksha, then how I can get out of the Upadhi? So for that he says yoga moksha pravartaka. He says that the yoga, here yoga he says not doing asana and all. Here he says the joining of the Atma to the Paramatma, going into that stage, that is called as a yoga, and that is called as the moksha pravartaka. Yoga is the moksha pravartaka. When you go for the relief of your chitta vrittis, when you come out of your panchaklesha, then you are going to go for the moksha. So there is a reference in Charaka Sharira first chapter itself where he says as yogo moksha pravartakaha. So this is one reference what you are going to get. So this is about the yoga. So here yoga darshana, we can say that it is a it helps in psychosomatic disorders, and it is not going to have any, it is not going to get with the medicine. It is not a complete medicine, but it can be applied with our medicines. It can be used as in the form of a contemporary medicine. And for the yoga to practice, you need experts who can help you to go for a practice. And yoga does not accept medicine. It does not have any medicine part. It only tells about the asanas and the pranayamas. And now all of you know that it is been taken under our department. That is, it comes under the Ayush only. So this much is your yoga darshana. Who is the profounder? Yogastu chitta vritti nirodha is the definitions. So chitta vritti and pancha klesha will always not make us to get attached with the jivatma and the paramatma. To attain that, the yoga darshana tells about the Ashtanga yoga. You have to explain those Ashtanga yogas. How you are going to apply it in Ayurveda? In Ayurveda, the Daiva Vipashraya, Yukti Vipashraya, and Sattva Vaja Chikitsa have been told. Under that, we are going to apply the Daiva and Yukti Sattva Vajaya in the form of the Chitta Vritti and Panchaklesha. That is a Yama, Niyama, and all we are telling to our patients, the Daiva and in the Sattva Vajaya Chikitsa. And when it comes for the Upadhi and the Moksha, where the Moksha concept has been told in Ayurveda, why the person is not going to get the moksha is because of the excess desires, the upadhis. So how you are going to come out of this upadhi is when through the yoga. Yoga is going to get relieve you from these upadhis. And in Chikitsa Sthana also, in Prameha Adhyaya also, there are in Adravya Bhuta Chikitsa, there he has told about, you have the reference of the yoga and the asana or the vyayama, what he is going to tell. So this is how the yoga darshana basic principles are utilized, and the sutras have been given a new format. This is how the application of in Ayurveda. Got yoga darshana? Till now, any doubt in these two darshanas, Sankhya and Yoga? See, whatever doubts you have, you write it down and you can share with your sir, and we can clear your doubts. Okay. So coming with the Nyaya Darshana. So what do you know about Nyaya Darshana? Who is the profounder of Nyaya Darshana?
Akshapada Gautama.
Akshapada Gautama. He was the profounder of the Nyaya Darshana. So the other names of this Nyaya Darshana. What is the definition of Nyaya Darshana? Pramanaiha Artha Parikshanam Nyayaha means by the right knowledge or through the right knowledge where you are going to do the pariksha, that he calls it as a Nyaya. Pramana here, they gave more importance to the Pramanas. So that's why it is called as Pramanaiha Artha Parikshanam. Means you are going to do the pariksha only through, not only by seeing by all the pramanas or through the instrument or through the tools, you are going to do the pariksha, and then you are going to get the right knowledge. So that he calls it as a Nyaya Darshana definition. Pramanaiha Artha Parikshanam Nyayaha. It is also called as Indian logic. Means you are applying logic and then you are going to derive at your final conclusions, not merely by just observing all the phases of experiment. You are going to go through that particular matter and then you are arriving at a final conclusion. So that he calls it as a Nyaya Darshana. Indian logic anta heltare adike. So it is being propounded by Akshapada Gautama. So here it is also called as, another name for this is Anvikshiki. It is also called as Anvikshiki. Why it is called as Anvikshiki? Remember this word because in 1 or 2 question papers it has come for 3 marks. Define Anvikshiki anta bandide. So what is Anvikshiki?
It's a method of reassessing the object.
Re-examination. So what you are doing nowadays, the research, no, is nothing but the Anvikshiki. So this is what Darshana is like a Anvikshiki for you now, today's class. Why? Because already it is being finished by your sirs, ma'ams. And again today you are having what? Once again you are having the revision or you are having the re-examination. I am asking you questions now. So you are what you are doing, you are answering me. So maximum part you have answered. So that is what nothing called as anvikshiki. So Nyaya principle says that whenever you are going for any of the thought process, or you are giving any sentence, you have to re-examine that, you have to revise that, you have to go for the research of that, and then come for a final conclusion. Through what you are going for the re-examination? Through the pramanas. So pramanas are nothing but the tools through which you are going for the examination methodology. So this is what the Nyaya Darshana told. So this is the Nyaya Darshana definition, that is Pramanaiha Artha Parikshanam. So if you go for a clear definition of Nyaya, we can state Nyaya definition as Nyaya is logical re-examination of knowledge acquired by perception and authentic statements. So this could be, or this fits very nicely in the definition. Nyaya is logical re-examination. You are putting logical re-examination of what? Knowledge. There is a re-examination of knowledge. How you are going to get this knowledge? This is acquired by perception and authentic statements. By authentic statements, here comes your aptopadesha. By perception, by your yukti, pratyaksha and anumana, you are having the perception, and by authentic statements, you are going to give this. So this is what the Nyaya Darshana told. So they accepted. So these are the basic principles of Nyaya. So they said that 16 padarthas, they said Shodasha padarthas. So understanding these padarthas through the pramana and the prameya, you are going to achieve the liberation or the moksha. And they named the moksha as Nishreya. Yogadavru ಏನಂತ ಕರೆದ್ರು ಮೋಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ? I am also doing re-examination. ಕೈವಲ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಕರೆದ್ರು. ಇವ್ರೇನ್ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ? Nishreya. They call it as a Nishreya. So these are the different terminologies, the different padartha what they use here. So 16 padarthas, knowledge of these Shodasha padarthas is going to benefit you from the, will lead to you to the moksha marga. So what are those 16 padarthas? Pramana, prameya, samshaya, prayojana, drishtanta, like this the list goes. So there first comes the pramana. So this pramana, through the pramana, you are going for the examination, the prameyas, that is what is atma, what is sharira, what is indriya, what is buddhi, manas. All this you are going for a re-examination. Using these pramanas and understanding these padarthas will lead you for the ultimate liberation. Understanding what is Atma, from where it is come, from where the Sharira is come. All these comes under your philosophical thought. So when a person understands this, then he is going to attain the moksha. So this is how their basic principles told about the moksha marga. Then how these principles are applied in Ayurveda. Ayurveda also accepts padartha, it also accepts pramana, it also accepts the prameya. So how? Padartha. How many padarthas Ayurveda has accepted?
6 padarthas.
6 padarthas. Can you name them?
Samanya, Vishesha, Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samavaya.
So these are the, what you call it as Shad Padarthas. So Ayurveda also told the Shad Padarthas, but the names of the Padarthas as accepted, as told by Nyaya and Ayurveda are entirely different. But it took Padarthas to explain the Chikitsa concept. He says that Iti Uktam Karanam Dhatu Samya Kriya Uchyate, means these Padarthas were considered as the reason, or they are considered as the cause for the occurrence of the Dhatu Samya. So what is the effect of utilizing these padartha is to go for the treatment protocol. Iti Uktam Karanam, for what? For Dhatu Samya. So this I think you have studied in your Charaka Sutra first chapter. So utilizing these padarthas, they said that 16 padarthas, understanding them will lead to your moksha marga. Ayurveda said understanding these shed padarthas will achieve you for a dhatu samya. So this is the difference of these principles. So this is how you can apply padartha. The next pramana. For what purpose the pramana is being told in Ayurveda? They used these pramana, the tools, to To understand the padarthas, the prameyas, whatever they have used to understand to go for the moksha marga. They are going to re-examine what is atma, what is sharira. The prameyas they are going to examine through the following the padarthas, and the pramanas they are going to go for the liberation. Whereas in Ayurveda, for what purpose the pramanas are being used? ಆಯುರ್ವೇದದಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? You have finished, pramanas. How many pramanas you have? There are many, but Ayurveda accepted. You have pratyaksha, anumana, aptopadesha, and the upamana pramanas you have, isn't it? But here one of the important pramana what Ayurveda applied is the yukti pramana. So yukti is one of the pramana where considered to be the much contribution. Why? Because it is needed for the chikitsa. Adalde for the rogi pariksha and the roga pariksha, the pramanas are being used. In Charaka you are going to study in the second year. So pramanas are nothing but for the examination. What examination? Examination of the rogi and the roga. This pramanas are like the tools. So tools of examination we call. And then next comes these nyaya, whatever they have told, we call it as a Indian logic. Whatever the vada margas are being told in Ayurveda, these are also borrowed from the nyaya darshana. Means in second year in Charaka you are going to study about the vada marga. So whenever you are going for any of the debate or discussion, you should be prepared with certain criteria. So those criteria are called as the vada marga. How you can approach towards your study, how you can approach towards your discussion. So those approaches he calls it as a vada marga. And all these vada margas are being taken by the nyaya darshana. The tantra yuktis which you have studied in your first year, those are also being borrowed from the nyaya darshana. Means to understand a text, to understand the hidden meaning of the sutras, the tantra yuktis are being applied. Similarly, they are being borrowed from the nyaya darshana. Nyayas has explained those are being taken. And then there are karya abhinivritti ghatakas, 10 types. That is karana, karana, karya, karya yoni, karya phala in your Charaka Vimanasthana. Those are also being borrowed from the nyaya darshana. And these karya abhinivritti ghatakas are for the chikitsa. Whenever you are planning for a chikitsa, you have to know what type of medicine should be taken, what is the disease condition, what is the rogi bala, and what is my aim, whether I have to get it completely cured, whether it is going to be sadhya or asadhya. All these factors you are going to analyze before going for a treatment. So those are called as the karya abhinivritti ghatakas. So this is the nyaya darshana. They are having 16 padartha pramana as their basic principles. The same is applied in Ayurveda, but it is for exactly for the application in the form of chikitsa is the nyaya darshana. And the next comes the vaisheshika darshana. So who is the profounder vaisheshika darshana? Vaisheshika darshana. Who is the Kanada?
Kanada, ma'am.
Maharshi is the profounder of the Vaisheshika Darshana. So the other names of this Vaisheshika Darshanas are, it is also called as Vishesha Darshana. It is also called as Kanada Darshana, named after the Maharshi. It is also called as the Ulukya Darshana. Okay, it is also called as Ulukya Darshana. Uluka means
Owl.
the owl. So another name for him was the owl also. So Uluka Darshana or the Kanada Darshana. Kana refers to one who eat the particles. So I'm not going to touch more of the history part over here. That's why I have not explained any of the historical stories or the mythological stories over here to any of the darshana. That is left on you people for self-reading. Important for us is understanding the basic principles and understanding them in application. So other names for us, this is the Kanada Darshana or the Uluka Darshana. And Vaisheshika Darshana is the first philosophy which said about the Anu, the thing it described about the Anu. So it said that the universe which is perceptible to us, it is made up of very minute particles which we call it as a Anu, which are indivisible in the further state. So that is the main contribution of this Vaisheshika Darshana. Okay, so what are these basic principles? The Mahabhuta, the Shad Padarthas, the Navadravyas, and the Pramanas and the Arambhavada. So these were their basic principles what they have told. Mahabhuta and Bhutanu Pravesha they have told. So they said that the entire universe is made up of 5 Pancha Mahabhuta, and there they said about how these Mahabhuta are formed through the Arambhavada, that is the Srishti Utpatti. They said that all the building blocks of the universe, that is the Anu or the Paramanu, they are eternal and they cannot be perceived to the naked eye. So this Anu and Anu joins and becomes Dvayanuka and then Trasrenu, and like this the universe is going to form. And when it comes in the Mahat Rupa, that time it will be called as the Mahabhuta. So this is how their Arambhavada started. Arambhavada, they also called it as a Srishti Utpatti. They said that how Srishti, the molecular theory, you can tell, it was formed during this, in parallel molecular theory, and this side Arambhavada by the Vaisheshika. So this is Kanada Maharshi. So through Arambhavada, they said about the concept of Mahabhuta. They said that the universe is made up of all the, and they accepted that Akasha is all pervading. So they said that Akasha is extensive, in which the atoms of the other 4 Mahabhutas, that is the other 4, they are arranged in various combinations and permutations. So this is how he explained the Mahabhuta concept. Okay, the next, Shad Padarthas. So what are the Shad Padarthas of Vaisheshika Darshana?
Dravya, Guna, Karma, Samanya, Vishesha, Samavaya.
Very good. So he said that they are 6. So it is same like Charakana, isn't it? It is same like Ayurveda. So in the previous slides, you studied 16 Padarthas of Nyaya, but they were different in their names also, in the numbers also. Okay, but here the Vaisheshika Darshana Padarthas are same in number also, they are same in names also. So Ayurveda applied the Padarthas of Vaisheshika Darshana, but these people said about the Dravya Guna Karma Samanya Vishesha Samvaya in the form of the Arambhavada or in the form of Mahabhuta. What is Dravya, what is what's Guna and all, they said in the form of Mahabhuta, but Ayurveda explained these Padarthas in the form of Chikitsa. So that is the difference. And also they gave importance to the Dravya first. Why? Because as Anu together form and they come in a Mahat particle, then there will be a formation of the things, the materials. So that's why Dravya, that material possesses some of the Guna, it possesses some of the actions, and it is having some inherent property. So that is what they said. As Ayurveda is a Chikitsa principal branch, so they said that whenever you are going to apply the Dravya, you should know the Samanyata and the Visheshata of the Roga. Then only you can choose a Dravya. That's why they used Samanya first, then Vishesha, then Dravya, Guna, Karma. Like this, it came in an order. So even though the numbers and the names are same, the order is changed. So this is how it has been arranged. And the next comes the Navadravyas. What are the Navadravyas in Ayurveda? Or what is Navadravyas? Can anybody name the Navadravyas?
Pancha Mahabhuta, Tala, Atma, and Manas.
Manas.
Manas and the Dik. So these are the Navadravyas, what they told, isn't it? So Navadravyas, they told that the entire universe is made up of so and so materials. So you have Pancha Mahabhuta, you have the Kala, Dik, Atma and the Manas, they said it as the Navadravyas. And Vaisheshika accepted 2 Pramanas. They accepted only Pratyaksha and the Anumana. And they said that Arambhavada, that is Srishti Utpatti, they said in the formation, in the form of the molecular theory, that is Anu, Dvayanu, Trasrenu, that he calls it as a Arambhavada. They said that nothing new will be formed, everything will be formed new, there will be nothing called as a precursor. So they did not accept the Karyakarana Siddhanta. They said in the form of Asat Karyavada. They Samkhya said it in the form of the Sat Karyavada. So you will be studying these Vadas, so I will not explain it much. Only remember that Arambhavada is being explained in Vaisheshika Darshana. Those were the people who said, and they said that they said this based upon the Asat Karyavada. So there is nothing existing before to make it for the new ones. Everything occurs in the new formation. So that they sold it in the form of Arambhavada. One more, they said that Mithya Jnana, the cause for the misery, they said that it is because of the Mithya Jnana. A person is always under a false notion. When the person is having a false notion, he will be always having the miseries. So this was one point what they told in the Vaisheshika Darshana. So what are the application in Ayurveda? Same. Mahabhuta, we apply in Chikitsa part. We say Sarvadravyam Panchabhautikam. So we apply in the Chikitsa part. Padartha also, we have a arrangement. The order of arrangement is different. We have Samanya Vishesha. And then purpose of utilizing these Padarthas is for the Dhatu Samyata. And then the Navadravyas are also being borrowed and they are applied in Ayurveda in the form of Karana and the Karya Dravyas. So we have the Karana Dravyas as the Navadravyas. From these we have all the Karya is going to happen, and that's why they come under the category of Karana and Karya Dravyas. And Ayurveda also accepts the Arambhavada in the form of, in the Asat Karya we have different notions. That is, we have the different formations like what is Arambhavada? Can tell anybody? Paramanuvada also comes under this. So Arambhavada, we call it as Asat Karyavada. So here it has been accepted by Nyaya and Vaisheshika. This is also been accepted in Ayurveda in certain examples. For example, in case of Samyoga, the Arambhavada is being accepted, where we are going for the combinations. So see, Madhu and Ghrita is the best example here to take. Both are having different qualities when they are in the separate in nature. When they are not mixed, when they are not undergone samyoga, both are having the different qualities. And they are also non-poisonous. You know, Ghrita is also non-poisonous. Madhu is also non-poisonous. But what happens when they are combined? When they are taken together in equal amount, they become poisonous. So the poison nature which was not there before, now it existed. So what? That nature was not existing before. So this is called as Asat. Asat means it was not existing before. Now it existed after mixing of these two dravyas. So that he calls it as a Arambha Dravya. There you go. In case of Samskara also, which you study in your Charaka Vimanasthana, in Samskara also he says that Samskaro hi Gunantaradhanam. So they are getting new gunas which was not present before. So those all can be included under the Arambhavada. So Arambhavada is also applied in Ayurveda in these conditions. And in case of Samskara and in case of Samyoga, you are going to have this. In case of Viruddhahara also, you can apply this Arambhavada. So this is how the application of Vaisheshika principles in Ayurveda. So got to know Mahabhuta, Padartha, Dravyas, Pramana and the Arambhavada. So this is Nyaya and the Vaisheshika. The next, coming to Purva Mimamsa, actually it is not there in your syllabus, but let's have a short look over this one. So who is the founder of Purva Mimamsa?
Jaimini.
Jaimini Maharshi. So Paramanuvada also comes under your Vaisheshika Darshana, Arambhavada and the Paramanuvada. So these Vadas are there in your syllabus. And this Nyaya and Vaisheshika, after few time, what happened, as they had the same principles, that is the Padarthas, Pramanas, Prameya and all, and the Panchamahabhuta concept, they have similarities. So they were clubbed and they came to be known as Samana Tantra, or they were called as the Samana Shastras. And that was the time when the Tarka Shastra or the Navya Nyaya, like this, it came into origin. So whatever you see, the Tarka Sangraha or Tarka Shastra, Navya Nyaya, it is nothing but the clubbing of the Nyaya principles and the Vaisheshika principles. So coming into the last two, the Purva Mimamsa and the Uttara Mimamsa. So the author was Jaimini. The definition here, Mimamsa refers to the search of knowledge. So that's what it is. Purva and Uttara has been named. And what are the other names of this? It is also called as Dvadasha Adhyaya or Dvadasha Lakshana. Dvadasha andre ಎಷ್ಟು numbers?
12.
Well, so the other names of this is Dvadasha Adhyaya or Dvadasha Lakshana because it contains 12 chapters. So during the introduction class, I had told you about the Vedas, isn't it? And these Vedas are divided into 3 categories. That is Mantra, Brahmana or the Aranyaka and the Upanishad. So these Vedas contain more than 1000 branches and they are separated into 2 parts. That is, one is Karma Kanda and another is the Jnana Kanda. Karma Kanda means it consists everything related to action, karmad mele ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So majority it comes under the mantra and the brahmana part. Jnana kanda it refers to the knowledge, so that comes under your Upanishads. So Upanishads come under the Jnana kanda. Karma kanda deals with the dharma, and Jnana kanda deals with the Jnana or the Brahma kanda, or it is also called as the Vedanta. So it is the karma. So this is the basic principles of the Purvamamsa. They dealt with the karma kanda or the dharma. They approached their thoughts. They taught the society by saying about the action or the through the dharma to follow the right path, then only to follow the proper karma, then only they are going to achieve the what liberation. So karma, they said it as nitya karma, naimittika karma, kamya karma, and the nishiddha karma. They explained this. What are your nitya karmas? What are the nishiddha karmas? Nishiddha andre ಮಾಡಬಾರದು ಅವನ್ನ. When it is told don't do, better not do. So in curiosity, what we do nowadays, we want to do something. So it is considered as a bad thing. Why? Because this karma, he is telling that you should not do the nishiddha karmas. It is going to lead you for the miseries. Kamya karma, which you desire, those karmas, he says, naimittika karma and the nitya karma. So all these he consider it comes under the karma kanda. So he has explained you about the different karmas what a person should do in his life. So Mimamsa is nothing but it is a higher level discussion based on the vichara. So these were their thoughts. They did a higher level discussions and they approached to the society saying that do good things, do good karmas. So this was the basic principle. So how it is applied in Ayurveda? We also have the karma concept in our Ayurveda. We believe in the karmaja vyadhis. So we have the purvakrita karma. You might have listened this word, purvakrita karma. Because of that, you have the punarjanma. Because of purvakrita karma, you have the vyadhi. So we have the karmaja vyadhis where it is being told because of the purvakrita karma, it has been occurred. So in of many of the nidanas also, we have in the diseases like kushta, in vandyatva, in yoni vyapad, we have the reference as it is daiva or it is karmakrita. So there the concept of karma comes. We have the reference of papa, prayaschita, dashavida papa karmas you have studied, isn't it, in Ashtanga Hridaya first chapter. So all this comes under the, it is being borrowed from the Purvamamsa thoughts only. The Pumsavana karma. So you have many karma. So those all are being borrowed from the Purvamamsa karma, and the various homas which are being explained in our classicals, in the Samhitas. For example, in the
I think some
so
rain.
once again I should share now.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
It's okay. I should share the slide now.
Yeah, please.
Okay, can you see, students?
Yes, it is visible, madam. It is
Is
visible.
visible? Okay. So this is Purvamamsa, means Mimamsa is nothing but a higher level of discussion or a school of thought where they went for the attaining of the moksha marga. But what Purva Mimamsa more concentrated on the karma, Uttara Mimamsa concentrated more on the jnana or the knowledge. So here what happened, whatever the in our Ayurveda, whatever the karma concepts are being told, whatever the homas are being told, all have been borrowed from the Purvamamsa itself. So you have many reference of the Homa. During Vishikanu Pravesha, you have the Homa. You have the Raja for infertility. You have the Homa where the Raja is blessed with the homa. During Garbhadana, they have told you have to perform the homa and then you have to go for the Garbhadana. During Upanayana, the homa has been told. So in classics, we find such references where the homas have been told. So from where have they borrowed this? According to the context, it is being borrowed from the Mimamsakara, and they have made it to understand in the form of a in which disorders we can utilize these homas which are being told in this Purva Mimamsa. So this is the application of the Purva Mimamsa. The next comes the Uttara Mimamsa. So who is the profounder of Uttara Mimamsa?
Badarayana Maharshi.
Badarayana Maharshi, who is the popularly known as Veda Vyasa. He is the profounder of the Uttara Mimamsa. So here it is also called as a Brahma Sutra, and it is having 4 chapters. That's why it is also called as the Chaturadhyaya. So these are the definitions and the other names. And the basic principles what they tell is Jnana Kanda. They tell about the Vedas. So this was the period where the Vedanta occurred, means people started declining from the Vedas. So it was the darker side of the knowledge where Buddhism and Jainism started flourishing more. This was the end of the Vedas, means after Uttara Mimamsa, many people denied the authenticity of the Vedas and there was the emergence of the Buddha. Many people followed the Buddha Darshana. So it was around 3 centuries or something that it was most popular, and later it got declined. Along with that, Charvaka also started getting the popularity. So this is how the school of thoughts provided knowledge to the common people through their knowledge. So they explained more about jnana. So that person having a samyak jnana will always lead him to a right knowledge, will always lead him to a moksha marga. So there you had 5 branches of Uttara Mimamsa. Might we have studied in school these branches: Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, Dvaita, Shuddha Advaita, then Dvaita and Advaita. So that is Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya. All these people came into the picture during that time, and they profounded their knowledge and they taught the persons how to secure or how to go into the moksha marga. So whatever their knowledge is being told, that is being applied in Ayurveda, means the reference, whatever Ayurveda is telling, it is telling in the form of jnana only. It is giving you a jnana itself. It is giving you a jnana of dharma. It is giving you a jnana of artha. It is giving you a jnana of moksha. It is giving you a jnana of kama. So that is the application of Uttara Mimamsa in Ayurveda. Okay. So the next comes Ayurveda, an independent darshana. So this is your most repeated question. The another format what they give is Ayurvedasya Maulika Siddhantaha. So what is that? Ayurveda, whether it is an independent darshana or not? Yes, Ayurveda is an independent darshana. Why? Because it is a practical science. It is practical science where it is going to utilize all the darshanas, where it has utilized all the 6 darshanas. It has utilized Sankhya, it has utilized yoga, all the darshanas it has utilized. So how it has utilized? It has utilized the Shat Padartha. Darshana told it in the form of the moksha, and here it is telling it in the form of Shat Padartha, in the form of Chikitsa. The guna, it is telling to know the existence of the padarthas. They tell it about 24 gunas. Vaisheshika Darshana told about the 24 gunas which you have studied in your Guna Adhyaya. Ayurveda tells about the 41 gunas for the treatment of the patient or the disease. The pramana it tells in the form of the existence of padartha to go for the re-examination of the padartha. And in Ayurveda, the same pramana concept of darshana is utilized to roga and rogi pariksha. And then Trigunas, they say that the Trigunas are cause for the Srishti Utpatti, whereas Ayurveda tells that Triguna is for the Manasika Prakriti as well as for the occurrence of the Manasika Vyadhi. So this is how Ayurveda has accepted all darshanas. So this is a 10 marks question where you have to write about all. For example, Ayurveda explains Srishti Utpatti, which it has borrowed from the Sankhya Darshana. But here it takes Purusha as a Chikitsa Purusha and it goes for the treatment protocol. Whereas Sankhya explains these tattvas to go for the Moksha Marga. So each and every darshanas you have to write here how it has been utilized. Okay. Next you have to write about the yoga. Class. all that you have to write here, how it utilizes all darshanas. I'm giving you just a point where you have to elaborate this for 10 marks. It even accepts the Jaina Darshana, it even accepts the Bauddha Darshana. Jaina Darshana said the Anekantavada, means there are many things in this universe. It is made up of different things. So even Ayurveda also has accepted this format in the form of Anekantavada. That is, it is telling that rasa is of different varieties. Wherever you come across the difference of opinion, those all comes under the Anekantavada. It tells about Ashtavidya, Dvi, about the different rasas. So all that comes under your Anekantavada. Kshanabhanguravada under the definition of the Sharira. So this is how all the darshanas are being utilized as a raw material, as a platform to explain its principles in Ayurveda. And see, Ayurveda and Darshana both thinks about the moksha concepts, both thinks about the Atma concept. Okay, but what is the difference between thinking of these two schools? Ayurveda thinks Atma when it is in combination with mind and body. Why? Because that time it becomes chikitsa. If Atma is not there, Jiva, what is the definition of Jiva? Garbha, Panchamahabhuta, Atma Samavayi. So there should be a Jiva Samavayi. Shukra Shonita Panchamahabhuta Jiva Samavayi Garbha Ityuchate, he says. Means combination of Panchamahabhuta, combination of Shukra, combination of the Bija. Okay. If fertilization has to occur, then there should be, along with that, there should be entry of this Jiva. So what is this Jiva? Jiva is nothing but the Atma. So when that Jiva comes over there, then only the Garbha is going to achieve, the Garbha is going to form. If you go for contemporary medicine, how relevant it is, you can analyze. See, this one example is enough for you to analyze all our concepts in that way. Fertilization occurs, all the mitotic meiotic division occurs, but if something goes wrong, if the mitotic or meiotic division does not occur properly, then it does not go into a blastocyst stage, then the zygote will not be formed. Why? You don't have any answer in the contemporary medicine. There is no formation of the life, the fetus, there is no development of the fetus, it is going to discard. So this is what they people tell. But here he says, well, only when the Jiva comes into it, the life originates. He has given you the answer. The Atma should come into it. Then only you are going to treat that particular body. So this body is nothing but the Atma, which is in combination with the mind and the body. Ayurveda thinks like that, and it goes for the treatment. Whereas Darshana people, they think or they worry about the fate of this solitary soul. Means they are not related. They don't know whether it is in the mind or in the body. What happens if it is not in the combination? They are not thinking of the Ihaloka. They are thinking of the Paraloka. What happens of this soul or the Atma when it leaves this mind and the body? They are more worried about that. But Ayurveda is more worried about the Atma, which is now at present in your mind and body. So this is the difference between Ayurveda and the Darshana philosophy. But still, Ayurveda is an independent Darshana because it uses all these things as its platform to explain its principles. Okay, so this is your Shad Darshana, what you have studied today in brief, because already it is been over for you. It was like pressing the refresh button. But most important point for you to is, this is very, very important. As I said you in the first slides only, why Darshana is in your syllabus, your answer will be, before your answer would be, before my class, as it is in a syllabus, so it is there. But now I think and I hope that your answer has been changed. Is it changed now? Change ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? You'll give a different answer, I feel, next time. Okay, how to approach an exam in Darshanas. First important for you people is maintain the timing. Okay, timing is very, very important for you tomorrow to write in your exam. So you have a 3 hours, isn't it? You have 3 hours only, no? Malkondra ellaru?
Yes, ma'am. Illa, ma'am.
So you have 3 hours. Half an hour before you are going to the examination hall. For what you are going to that? Half an hour to chit chat with your friends. Half an hour before into the hall. You are going to enter into your answer sheet. All the necessary things, whatever has been done, it should be completed within that half an hour. And exactly at 9 o'clock, you have to start writing your answer sheet. So that is, first you have to maintain your timing. How you are going to maintain your timing is, in 3 hours, you have to touch all the questions. Don't leave a single question and come in your during your exam. Touch all the question. At least if you write one line also, it has been considered as touched. So don't leave a single question. So maintain a timing. Whether you'll start first with the 10 marks, that is your approach. Whether you'll start with the 5 marks or whether you'll start with your 3 marks. It all depends on your individual writing capacity and your ability. But what I would like to suggest is, first start with the 3 marks, 5 marks, and then you can sit with the 10 marks. So 3 marks are very easy. You have to go for a direct. So what you have to do is, directly you have to write the answers, whatever is being asked. So it's like a maths. Step by step you are going to write and you are going to finish off. Don't sit much with the 3 marks. Then you are going for the 5 marks, where you have to elaborate. So in half an hour you have to finish with your 3 marks, another 1 hour you have to finish in your 5 marks, and then you can keep another 1 hour for your 10 marks. That is half an hour for 2 questions. Like that, if you divide your timing and write, you will pick up your time also, and you'll have even time to look back whatever you have written your answers also. So if you want that much speed, what is necessary? One of the paradi guna is necessary for you. Which is necessary for you? Ashtu speed up pick up madbekantandre, what is necessary for you people to develop now? You need abhyasa. You need satata abhyasa. Then only you can pick up this. And then comes your understanding. So whenever the question paper is given, don't get panic. Okay, first sit calmly and read what the questions are there. Then go for writing of the answers. So don't suddenly go for the writing of the answers. First read the entire question paper, and whichever part I said, it depends upon the individual. I have just given my suggestion. If you want, you can follow. Otherwise, according to your ability, your speed of writing, and your easy things, you can approach your questions. Okay, so this is how you have to maintain during your exams. So to come with that speed, already I told you, make your own notes, try to write daily. By writing, the speed is going to pick you up. And these are some of the questions. We cannot show you all the question papers, but some of the questions which I came across in all these 10 years of question paper. 10 marks I told, 5 marks, 3 marks are always there. This is the question which is there for 10 marks and 5 marks repeatedly. Though this is for 5 marks. Ayurveda and independent darshana. So this you have to get ready or prepare according to what I have told before. The next comes, the Sankhya Darshana is being asked repeatedly for 10 marks and sometimes for 5 marks. For 10 marks, the questions will be elaborated, and for 5 marks, directly they have told it as Sankhya Darshana. So you have to prepare your answers according to that. So can anybody try now what all you will write? Till now it was my time. Now it is your time to give me a feedback. How, see, this question has come for your paper. How you are going to approach? How you are going to write in your exam? This is much needed for you. You will listen the theory, but how you are going to do the input of that? Can anybody write what all points you will include in Sankhya Darshana?
Ma'am, etymology, definition,
Okay, then
types,
then
applications.
okay. In order you have to come now. See, if the Sankhya Darshana is being asked for 10 marks, then always try to write first the definition of darshanas, the types of darshan, the numbers and classification of darshanas, and then what do you mean by Sankhya Darshana? Already I told you in my slides how you have to go. Who is the founder of the Sankhya Darshana? What are the definitions? What are the other names of this? Main you have left. The basic principles of Sankhya Darshana. Explain each of these basic principles. If it is for 5 marks, explain in 4 lines or 5 lines all the basic principles. If it is for 10 marks, explain in a little bit more in a quantity. And last you have to come with the application in Ayurveda. In application also, for 5 marks, you have to go for 4 to 5 lines, and if it is for 10 marks, extend that particular answer. So this is how you have to prepare your answers for these questions. That's why I told Sankhya Darshana is sometimes asked for 10 marks also. They have asked how define Darshana, classify Darshana, and briefly explain the application of Sankhya Darshana in Ayurveda. So this is your common question. If you have seen the question papers, this is your common question what they have asked. So 10 marks it is there, you have to elaborate. 5 marks it is there, cut short that a 10 marks answer. And if it is 3 marks, cut short more, but questions will be different. For 10 marks, it was a big question. For 5 marks, they'll just ask Sankhya Darshana. For 3 marks, they may ask Panchavimshatika Tattva. So Panchavimshatika Tattva anta bandaga, what you are going to write? This Tattva is being explained in Sankhya Darshana. The Panchavimshatika Tattvas are so and so. Put a flow chart. Finished. That much is your answer. So you are going to get the full 3 marks. So this is how you have to prepare your answers. Okay, got my point. So this is Sankhya Darshana. The next comes, the next more asked Darshana is the Nyaya Darshana. Nyaya Darshana meleno 5 marks ಮತ್ತೆ 3 marks ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಸಲ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Vaisheshika Darshana is asked for 5 marks, and application is being asked for 5 marks. And sometimes direct Paramanu like that also they have been asked as Vaisheshika Darshana they have asked. Okay, and then Yoga Darshana is being asked repeated more comparatively. And many times for 3 marks they have asked the definition. They have asked define Darshana. They have asked. Okay, in 10 marks also they have asked, in 3 marks also they have asked the definition of Darshana. Avaga, Trishyate Aneneti Darshana you have to write, and you have to write what is the meaning of that particular shloka. And then classification of Darshana is being asked in 10 marks also, and it is being asked for 3 marks also. That is, you have to classify this Darshana, whatever I said now. 5 marks ge bandre, you have to explain each Astika Nastika Darshana. Along with that, you have to classify the Darshana as 363, Kriyavadi, Akriyavadi, and 13 are important, 9 are influenced by Ayurveda. Like that you have to write. 3 marks bandre, basic classification, and what is the base for this classification. Astika hege antivi, Nastika how will tell, Astika Nastika how will tell. So these are the different questions. See, I have not written the questions because these all are the questions which have been repeatedly asked for you in all these years. So that's why I told Darshana is an important syllabus point where it is going to cover all the 10 marks, 5 marks as well as 3 marks questions. But always try to follow the basic pattern. That is this one. That is the profounder, the definition, the other name. So 5 points, if it is there in your head, you are going to elaborate each and try to analyze the difference between the each darshana, what is their importance. Sankhya, 25 yoga is important. Nyaya, pramanas are important. Vaisheshika, Padartha is important for them, means through Padarthas they told the Moksha Marga. Uttaram Puru Mimamsa, Karma is important, and Uttara Mimamsa, based on Jnana Kanda, they explain the theories. Ishta nimge nenpidre, you are going to write your paper. These are the basics which you have to remember. Okay, so this is your, and this one you have to elaborate your Ayurveda and independent Darshana. So any doubts, children?
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, Panchavimshatika Tattva once again explain.
Okay, Panchavimshatika Tattva, which is being told in your Sankhya Darshana. See, Prakriti, then he tells about the Mahat Ahankara, Avyakta Mahat Ahankara, like this, he says that it is because of the Srishti Utpatti. To tell about the Srishti Utpatti, the Sankhya tells about the Panchavimshatika Tattva. Andre, first barodu Avyakta. Avyakta is nothing but which does not have any origin. It does not have any origin, but it can origin the other things. So, allinda enagutte antandre, from Avyakta, the Mahat is going to come. Through Mahat, the Ahankara is going to evolve. So, all these Ahankara, Avyakta, Mahan, they are going to have, or they are in the stage of Samyavastha. Okay, till then the Srishti is not being formed. Okay, Pralaya is needed for the Utpatti of this Srishti. So when this Pralaya is going to occur, when this Ahankara, it is going to explode. That is, when it is going to explode in the form of Satvika, Rajasika and Tamasika. Ahankara here refers to Aham Bhava, he is telling it as Ahankara. So when it is going to explode into Satvika, Rajasika, Tamasika, so there is no Samya Avastha in these Ahankara. So when there is a Asamya Avastha, when it is being undergone the disintegration, then what happens? The Rajasika, Satvika and the Tamasika, they are going to form the different other particles. That is Pancha Jnanendriya, the Karmendriya and the Tanmatras will be formed, and from them the Pancha Mahabhutas will be formed. So this is how the Srishti has been evolved. But if if the Trigunas are in the Samya Avastha, there is no formation of the Srishti. When the Trigunas are disintegrate, then only there is formation of the Srishti. So this is how they explain the Srishti Utpatti Krama, how the Srishti is going to evolve. Ee thara avanu table alli helkota bartane. Okay. So the same explanation is being told in Sushruta Samhita, Sharira Sthana also, how the Srishti Utpatti is going to occur. But Sushruta says the Srishti Utpatti is going to occur through the Yadrucha, then Ishvara, like that he says about the 6 types. He says because of the Yadrucha and all, it is going to occur, he says. So alli ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ change ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. Exactly what you want in Panchavimshatika Tattva?
It's enumeration, how it is 25 principles.
How it is 25? Okay. So first is your Prakriti. Okay, Avyakta. First is Avyakta. Okay, that is 1. Mahan. Then comes Ahankara. So total 3 aitu. The next comes the Ahankara is divided into Vaikarika, Tejasika and Bhutadi. So idrinda ಏನು ಬಂತ ಹೇಳು? Pancha Jnanendriya, Pancha Karmendriya and the Manas. Okay, so how much happened? Pancha Jnanendriya and Pancha Karmendriya 10, Manas is 11, Ahankara 12, Mahan is 13 and Avyakta is 14. Okay, then to this add Pancha Tanmatras. Eshtaitu?
19.
14 plus 5, 19. And again Pancha Mahabhutas? When you add Pancha Mahabhutas?
24.
24. So this is called as Chaturvimshatika Tattva of Charaka. Again, 24 principles. These become the 24 principles. To this, see, here Sankhya considers Purusha as a separate entity. So they say that Purusha, when you consider Purusha along with this, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ Purusha is considered, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಂಖ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ 2 schools ಸಿಗ್ತಾವೆ. ಒಂದು ನಿರೀಶ್ವರ ಸಾಂಖ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ಈಶ್ವರ ಸಾಂಖ್ಯ ಅಂತ. ನಿರೀಶ್ವರ ಸಾಂಖ್ಯ, they do not believe in the Ishwaras, or they don't believe this Purusha or the Atma concept. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು they don't accept this. So that time it becomes 24. But Sa Ishwara Sankhya, they accept the Atma concept and they add Purusha to this. When they add Purusha this, so it becomes how much?
25.
Plus
25.
1. So Panchavimshatika Tattva famous ಆಯ್ತು. Nirishwara Sankhya famous ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ. When they accepted or when they started telling about the Atma concept, it got popularized. So they started propounding the 25 principles only. ಅದೇ ಆಯುರ್ವೇದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, what Charaka did was, he took 24 principles. Means what he did, Prakriti and Purusha he considered as one entity. They considered as a separate entity. He considered it as one entity. One entity ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? It becomes 24 principles only. It does not become 25. Charaka, according to him, Prakriti and Purusha he said as one entity. Sankhya, Prakriti and Purusha, they consider it as a separate entity. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲೇನಾಯ್ತು 25 ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಯುರ್ವೇದದ್ದು 24 ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚತುರ್ವಿಂಶತಿಕ ಪುರುಷ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಂಚವಿಂಶತಿಕ ಪುರುಷ. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
ಫ್ಲೋ ಚಾರ್ಟ್, ಅವ್ಯಕ್ತ ಮಹಾನ್ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ನಿಮ್ದು ಫ್ಲೋ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅದು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ completes your Shad Darshana. So you have a quotation here. If you can dream it, you can do it. So all of you have a dream, isn't it? All of you want to come out with the flying colors. All of you are going to be a future Vaidya. So you will be a Vaidya. Your dream is to become a Vaidya, and you can do it. That is, if you study, if you go for Satata Abhyasa, tomorrow you are going to achieve your success. Have faith in your science, have belief in your science, and try to come out with good study background, and always be involved in constructive activities. Okay, I thank JSS College Principal Sir, and I also thank Department of Samhita Siddhanta HOD and Rishikesh Sir, and all the other faculties, as well as my HOD Dr. Shivatsa Sir, for giving me this platform to present with this students of JSS College on Shad Darshana. I also wish all these my students best wishes for your bright future. All of you, all the best for your coming exams, and as well as your coming academic career. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam, for your valuable time, scholarly words, and simple presentations, and which make the students more understanding, more deeper, and they are getting more confident to approach the examination also. Thank you for your guidance, for your time. In future also, we are expecting your support, your guidance to our department. Thank you in the name of department, also in the name of college, also in the name of principal sir also. Thanking you. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
sir. Thank you, sir.
any one request, if any students are approaching me for your guidance, can I share your number?
Yes, sir.
According to
Yes, sir. Even you can guide, and if you want even the slides, I'll share it to you, sir. You can give it to your students so that it will be helpful for them to prepare the notes.
Okay, ma'am.
Any doubts, they are always welcome. Students are always welcome for academic purpose.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So, I'm signing out.